live, and this time we are live. We've been pre-taping a lot of shows, but this one we got live. This is season 5, episode 5, and sponsored by Cognative MTB. We'll talk more about that later. Today we have Anderson, Benton Drones. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? You're officially the first early bird of the show.
Knocking it out of the park.
Oh, so most people don't show up early.
Some do.
It's not like a tardiness. It's the miscalculation of how long it takes to get here.
Where the studio is.
Yeah.
I saw it. I was like, he's on like a little private island.
I do have an island out here.
Yeah.
It's a kept secret. But yeah, man, thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah. There's a million things to talk about, and I think one of the first ones for me is you started this in 2020. I saw it on your website. 2020. That's crazy. Yeah. That you've gotten this far in all of this in such a short time.
You know, it's funny you say that. Like, I feel like I should have been a lot farther, a lot sooner, and it's just one of those things where like you don't really know until like you actually have a moment to like look back. It's like, whoa, it's only been 5 years, and to just progress, especially coming from Arkansas, like this is in the middle of nowhere. I feel like this would be the last place to start a drone, let alone FPV business. But I think, you know, the rise of my business is directly related to the mountain bike scene here.
Right.
Yeah, and then you kind of branched off from there. It looks like, because I know you were doing the drift cars and there's so much with the drift. Much other things. Yeah, and I'm just like, oh man, he's killing it with this stuff.
Yeah, it's just at some point it's you can either sit and wait for opportunities to come to you, or you just literally get out there and go. And, you know, mentioning drift, I was driving 5-6 hours to just get a chance to chase drift cars in Dallas, and then started discovering other scenes in, you know, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and then eventually we were able to get drifting here. Unfortunately, it started at an active airfield, so no flying there. And then luckily,
so you cannot. I didn't even put those two and two together.
Yeah, like the one place, like, you know, you shouldn't be flying is at an airport.
At an airport, right? Yeah, right.
Anywhere around 1, 2, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
like at least a mile and a half. You're not supposed to be anywhere near an airfield. Because think about it, when is the plane going to be the lowest? When it's either taking off or landing. And other than that, they're way out of the way.
So what about like the Bentonville airport? Is that like a mile and a half away, or are you just kind of encroaching on that?
Thaden is definitely, you know, overlaps a lot some of the trail systems. But for me, it's like we're in the tree line. You know, airspace begins above the highest like obstruction.
Oh, okay, got you.
So like the way I look at it, if there's a plane down in Slaughter Pen, as long as I didn't do it, there's some other problems to worry about.
Sure. It's
just like there should not be an airplane down here.
Yeah. True. So you're certified for this for drone piloting, and is that something that you have to do because you have a business based around it, or does everybody that flies drones have to have this?
So for you to pretty much get paid, not even like for you to do any commercial work with drones, you have to get a Part 107 certification.
Oh, okay.
And that's just like a license to essentially fly drones and make money. Yeah.
It's like a additive business license type of thing.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of threshold between it being a toy? You know, like there's kids can buy one at like, you know, a Best Buy or something like that. I don't know. I mean, where's the threshold between that's just
pretty much any sort of monetization is the threshold.
It's
if you want to do it
monetization
for like, it's not even just like for dollar amounts. It's just like you're doing it for a business that's a YouTube channel or any of those things. At some point, if there's any value generation, you should technically have a Part 107.
Right.
If you're doing it strictly for fun as a hobbyist, like I'm just out just randomly flying around with no intent or purpose, then you're just good as a hobbyist.
But that's only good up to like certain like areas, right? Because in there, like you were talking about airports, but there's other places that are kind of like no-fly zones. Isn't that right?
I mean, you kind of have to look at what we call like airspace maps, and that kind of gives you an idea. So depending on where you are, there might be other restrictions. Like for instance, in Pea Ridge, there's a whole area that's military airspace, and you're it's like a little red squares that you can't fly in. But then also in Pea Ridge, well, there's also drone deliveries that are active.
Interesting.
And it's like blankets the entire, Northwest Arkansas area.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but then you go out to Gravette, Gentry, it's wide open.
So what you're talking about was some of like the drone delivery stuff. You were involved in that, were you not?
Yeah, still am actively.
Okay.
Given where we are, Walmart is definitely one of the big retailers out there that's trying to bring drone deliveries to the masses.
Yeah.
And that's why a company like Zipline is based in Pea Ridge. And then we had Drone Up, which was based at the Supercenter here.
Okay.
And then in areas like Dallas, there's also Google Wing. So all these companies are trying to pretty much do business with Walmart. And being in the area as a drone operator, there were some opportunities to kind of work with these companies to do some of the research that they're doing in the area.
Gotcha.
Right.
Is some of that like plotting the area?
A little bit of that. I will say that like working with these companies has just kind of opened my eyes to all the other opportunities in the drone space.
Interesting.
Outside of, videography, drone chase stuff. Like data collection is pretty much a big part of what I do for these companies.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
And it's just at the end of the day, like I'm licensed to pretty much make money from the sky. And after that, it's like, how do you, like, who wants
me to do something
that
from the sky? Because you do like land surveying stuff too.
Yep,
right?
mapping, data collection, all sorts of stuff. Like at the end of the day, like we are flying cameras typically, but it's just a sensor, right, of some sort. So from there, what other sensors can I attach to a drone that someone's willing to pay me to fly and collect information? People reach out all the time for pet recovery. They lost a pet using thermal cameras. We can help with that, or even for hunting. Game recovery, things like that, or rescue research.
I didn't think you get you when you think about drone work, like you said, it's almost like you have to be in that circle or in that the opportunity space to be able to learn about what options there are out there. Because it's not like there's like a book that tells you this stuff.
Absolutely not. It's like you have to be curious, and like as someone that's really trying to, like, this is my life, right?
Yeah,
this is what I do for a living. It's like, how do I create a sustainable business? And with that, like, optics, you're just always looking for opportunities. Like, all I want to do is pretty much fly all day. It's just, what can I do to make that happen?
Earn a living doing it, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's always the dream.
And it's like thinking about like what's available to me. So obviously, action sports is a big part with mountain biking here, but like that's kind of been a lightning rod for other opportunities. Like, the people that are hiring me are looking at my content. It's like, okay, this guy can fly a drone in the woods. He can probably like make a drone hover in like open space relatively easily. It's like, it's just some basic flying, but it's just thinking about, what other opportunities are in the area. So drone deliveries being a hotbed here, that was definitely an avenue. Looking into agriculture, which is really big in Arkansas, we can do crop dusting, we can do crop, inspection and management.
Crop dusting, like actual like seeding, or like their work, pesticides,
chemicals, all that. It's just at this point, you can pretty much anything a helicopter can do or a small plane can do can now be replaced by a drone.
So you say replaced, does that mean better?
In a way, I mean, way more precision, way more targeted. You do get the benefits of like autonomous capabilities. It's like someone doesn't need to physically like take off in a plane. And you get way more control and precision over, certain applications.
Wow.
I think that's probably where I would assume that's where the good money is, like to make a good money. Like, hey, we're going to hire you to do this mountain bike event. I mean, it's kind of more of a recreational vibe, but like data collection, surveying and things like that. That's probably like legit.
Yeah.
I will like, it's one of those things where it might not be the most like flashy and exciting, but it's definitely what's built my business to be sustainable. Is doing that kind of work.
It's not the glamour,
but
but at the same time, it's like I've actually heard about this in like the mountain bike marketing space, where it's like the Gnar stuff is what draws the eyes, but it's not what's really paying the bills.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I would imagine even for you're essentially a photographer, videographer, and the rates I can imagine aren't too much different.
Yeah, no.
In that space.
At the end of the day, the way I look at the stuff that we do with FPV is I am a cameraman. Just instead of tripods and other gadgetry, I just fly the cameras.
Yeah.
So definitely similar line of work and rates, I'd say.
Yeah. And I've worked in a bunch of like video with a lot of video teams before, but I think it was kind of before the prevalence of drones in like as a cameraman, so to say. Do you end up finding yourself working directly with like the video and photo teams, or do you find that when you do these projects you're kind of in your own department, so to say?
So it's kind of been like an evolution. I think initially I was trying to plug into other, videography squads, teams, and like production crews.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like the technology is still so new. Like people don't understand how to fully utilize the technology. Like for instance, I was just talking to a buddy about this. Like they see the work and they get really excited and they're like, oh dude, that video you did, like how you swooped in and you flew all this and that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, let's do that. And then I would show up for the shoot and they're like, all right, scratch all that. How about you just hover and just go really slow forward? And I'm like, guys, like you hired me for FPV and what you want is like a Mavic shot. Right?
Yeah.
It's like you need super slow panning and
I could have sent you a link to a Mavic if you really wanted it.
Yeah, right? And it's like you can go to Best Buy and get this. And it's like I guess you still need a certified pilot to fly it.
True. Yeah. But, well, you're not paying yourself in that instance. It's yours. So yeah.
But then that's kind of how it started. And then I think now it's kind of the point where people are like hiring me and they're like, all right, Anderson, you just do you.
You do you, yeah.
And this is what we want. Yeah. Do it how you do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, like I don't know if you guys saw the Horseshoe Canyon video, but like
I did.
Ultimately
Recently I did.
That was literally it. It was like, hey, like hire Anderson and have him do
and just let him do his thing.
Yeah. And that's kind of been the MO. But then as someone that flies drones constantly, I do realize the need for multiple camera angles, right? So that's kind of led me down the path to investing in actual traditional videography equipment and then trying to take on actual videography like myself. Mainly because at some point you just need that variety. As much as I love just nonstop FPV, that's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So being able to provide a little bit of everything and being like a run and gun, more or less one-man show is kind of how I operate now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that, you're one-man band. You are Benton Drones. No team behind you.
We are trying to expand.
Okay.
I'm looking for pilots all the time.
Gotcha.
In the area, I think there's a couple people that are super interested, and like we want to grow more pilots and operators in the area. We're trying to build a community.
Yeah, I saw you just did like a drone meetup thing recently.
Yeah.
Did you already do that?
Yeah, we did that. 13 people showed up.
Yep, that's decent.
That's like 11 more people that I thought would show up.
No, that's like going to a skate session thinking that you're going to be the only one, and then 13 people show up. You're like, oh, people skate. You're like, oh, hey.
Yeah. Pretty much like, dude, I'm so stoked that you did this. Like, I don't know any other drone people in the space. Like, the fact that you have a drone shop is like, whoa. And
and you have the drone shop too, so you can kind of like say, hey, just so you guys know, I'm also like support for the community. I can help you guys if you want it, if you want the help.
And that's part of it. It's like I think that's also a business model of training. That's definitely an outlet we're interested in. I think I want more pilots that are trying to do this full time, and I think building up that skill set locally is something that I'm interested in investing in.
I could see a lot of people the hobby gets you started. The hobby interest gets you started. Then you start to look into more. What else can I do with this?
I mean, at the end of the day, the hobby gets expensive, right? So you got to figure out ways to monetize that hobby and continue to play.
That's the truth. Yeah.
We got a chat from Septagrammer.
Oh, Septagrammer, yeah.
He said our buddy Carlton was becoming a successful FPV drone content creator, and then boom, he's out of the game. Lost all interest.
Yeah.
Burnout's real.
Burnout is real.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I feel that with a lot of things, unfortunately.
Well,
yeah.
I think it's challenging
because
you're learning how to be a pilot, but you also got to be a good videographer too.
It's that, but then there's also like the business aspect. Once you take that next step.
Yeah, and then you got to go, okay, now what do I do with this? And like you said, it didn't seem like there's
an opportunity
around here. And but sometimes you make an opportunity.
And I think that's the key takeaway. It's just like, this is so new. Like, as someone that's heavily involved, it's really easy to have your blinders on and be like, oh, there's like no other opportunity. But like, it's a blank canvas.
Yeah.
Like, they're still figuring out what to do with licensing for people to fly. So it's like the opportunities in which you can make money with drones is kind of an open-ended question. It's like, as long as you follow this basic subset of rules that someone has defined at this point in time,
sure, yeah,
go ham. Like,
yeah,
like after that, it's just like, what can you do to make money, or
sure.
what can you do to make a viable business? And it's trying a lot of different things, developing strategies, and trying to implement them. Like, when I first moved here, everyone's like, oh, you're into drones, like, do real estate. You know what didn't need any help here in 2020? real estate.
Yeah.
Like, the realtors were like, God, like, dude, I don't even need a listing. Like, these houses are selling themselves.
Yeah.
So it was like, what works in one place might not work here, and you constantly have to have this like carousel of business ideas to attempt. And you can't just like buckshot try it all at once. Like, you need to like actually like entrench yourselves, give it the time, give it the energy, give it the effort, and like see it to failure or success, right?
Yeah, or just like see what industry would benefit off your services, or to make things that they already do better.
Well, yeah, it was actually that's perfect. We were talking about farming earlier. Go back to the chat. Octodad from New Zealand, he said that drones are being used in farms in New Zealand, spraying, checking cows, farm inspection, and cleaning. So that was another thing that I had heard about was window washing.
Yeah, people are hooking power washers to these drones.
To the drones.
Instead of people rappelling down the side of a skyscraper, just replace it with
throw the goggles on and boom. Like, damn, that's crazy.
Or even to the point where it's like, here's a facade of a building, just go up and down.
And you map it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just map the path and then set the sprayer to do its thing. Something. Yeah, and then go.
It runs out of battery. It comes back for a landing. You as the operator supervising, you just swap out the battery and send it back up. Like,
that's interesting.
Drones is kind of probably the most accessible robotics we have as like consumers right now. You can literally go to Best Buy or Sam's Club and buy yourself a drone, and that's like videography. You can even use that same thing for mapping, all sorts of stuff. It's just.
But what is a normal person that's just like some kid buying one for his mountain bike riding? Like, you got to know that the airspace and all this other stuff. Like,
most people don't.
They don't.
Yeah, no, you don't. But I mean, how much trouble can you get for just being ignorant to it?
Pretty sure you.
So up until recently, I thought that like the FAA is like scouring the internet looking for people, but like, look what happened in New Jersey. You can't even identify these giant
an actual helicopter.
It's just like, but it's just like they have no idea what's going on, and it's like, ultimately, if you don't do stupid stuff that brings scrutiny on yourself, you're just a fly on the radar. Like, just don't draw any attention to yourself, and you kind of do whatever. I mean, whether it's legal or not, that's entirely up to whoever.
Sure.
But like, there's not someone at the FAA that's just like scouring
monitoring,
the internet, and let alone they're just been halved in size. So there's even less people watching than before.
I gotta ask, man. Like, and just thinking about it, like, droning mountain biking, I think that's just was an easy learning curve. I mean, you're just out there with us anyways, and most of us don't even care how good you do it at first. It's like an easy way to practice, right?
Sure.
But then you get called to do, either you're volunteering or they call you to do like drifting. Like, what kind of research goes into that? I mean, you can't just jump in there and go, I have hope for the best.
So ultimately, like, one thing I didn't, and I really appreciate in hindsight, is literally practicing on the mountain bike trails here. We don't have wide open spaces. We're tight trees, single track. Like, the fact that I can fly in these tight quarters means that if you give me a little bit of space, like, that's like freedom.
Let me go. Yes, right.
That's like liberation. Like, I can do anything at that point.
Yeah, and like with even, I definitely want to get into the passion play. We definitely have to get into that. But like, even that space, it has some canopy, but even that's open. That's way more open than the trails.
Yeah.
And
it's
is there like research of like trendy shots and how people are filming, or you just go into it doing your own thing?
Ultimately, like, I do look at what the current flavor of FPV is in the industry, but like hindsight, like, I am definitely not what's like hot in FPV. Like, everyone wants like 7 seconds of FPV. And, you know, the car shot where it's like a car commercial and you're just
Yep.
zipping past the front.
Yep.
And that's it. And it's like everything I'm doing is like minutes long trail chase, minutes long, super long form where framing and composition is everything. It's just like, how do you hold like a viewer's interest and not just make it all like flippy floppy flying and like just make it watchable? Right. And that's definitely against current trends. Everyone pretty much is like 7 seconds of a FPV shot at most.
So I got to bring this up. The impossible drone shot.
Yeah.
I saw this and I was like, something's gonna segue this. And that is it, because what is being pulled off here is essentially you're usually bound by your physical location.
Right.
And go ahead.
We only have so much range, mostly for video signal, right?
Yes.
Up to a certain extent, I won't be able to see because the video signal can't get back to where I am.
Side note, what is the resolution of your goggles?
So the goggles, currently I'm flying with the latest DJI. So everything I fly is digital and DJI. Yep. So we're flying goggles 3. It's 1080p, 100 FPS in the goggles.
Okay. Wow, that's a high FPS for that signal.
But I mean, the crazy part is actually shooting 4K up to 120 10-bit on board. So
okay, let's get this full screen for the folks at home.
So typically when we're doing trails, especially long runs, we're having to break up segments and kind of leapfrog down the trail.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So the stunt we're trying here is how do I get continuous range? And essentially I'm in the back of a cargo bike while flying an FPV drone. And this is probably the only time I actually get sick now, is being in a moving vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just car sickness.
Yeah, it's just at some point it's like 4 layers of motion that your body's like, where am I? It's like I see one thing, I'm controlling one thing, and then I see someone else doing something, and then I'm feeling
something totally different.
Oh no!
And I'm backwards.
Yeah. Oh man,
super
that must have been
disorienting.
insane.
I gotta change this. So run 1.
So Bobby Parker, one of your previous guests, is the current wheelman.
Yeah.
And we're just along pedal assist, so we're chasing on cease and desist here. Mm-hmm. So that little return trail is what we're trying to keep up with Annika. And more or less, the shot kind of worked.
I think it worked.
Yeah.
I mean,
full pull of cease and desist.
And so it stopped recording. Oh, so this is first run, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So ultimately, we got it on the second take, but we did 9 takes total.
Okay, so run 2 here. This is the one. Come on, there we go.
And what you're seeing in the little box is actually just straight off the GoPro. We do a little bit of post stabilization to kind of make it like more watchable.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised at how
you kind of see her just come off on the side there.
And Bobby's able to like spot her and try to keep up.
Yeah.
That's so genius. I love it. I love everything about this. Is it a Nargo?
No, we rented from Oz e-bikes. We got a little rad runner.
Oh, gotcha. Because you're on the back.
Yeah, we needed a seat.
Yeah, you were on the back.
I think with their new trike, that would have been a good, interesting thing to do with Nargo.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, ultimately should have called it quits on the second take, but I almost puked on the 9th one. It's
really?
like cold sweats, super nauseating, just trying to like stomach it.
That's crazy. Let's see. Oh shoot. I'm jumping around
it's
here.
It's like one of those carnival rides, man. Like
pretty much.
So
jostled all over the place.
Yeah, here's the success.
This is your finalized shot.
Right.
Okay, got it.
So with YouTube, you got to hit them over the head with what's good in 3 minutes or they're gone.
Yeah, very true. This is very true. That's why our show is so hard to get traction. It's 2 hours.
And yeah, look at the difference. Just a little bit.
Just a little stabilization.
Yep.
And there was actually a lot of movement around there. I was gonna say, kudos to GoPro for the stabilization because they do. It's very good. It's
gotten even better.
It's gotten better. Yes. Yeah. But now I heard they have there's some competition with Oz.
Is it Insta360?
Insta360 maybe.
But I mean, at this point.
Or no, it's the DJI, the new action
Osmo
cam.
Action, yeah.
Osmo, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, GoPro has kind of fallen behind the times. Like their latest innovation is a black. I mean, instead of a black camera, you get a white camera.
Oh, white body.
Yeah, I'm like, awesome. Do you know what the last thing I want on my action camera is? Is a white body.
Yeah. It's like all cameras need to be black. So
yeah.
I mean, it just I have a gray body camera over here, and it's frustrating.
So you know the pain.
Yeah, I know the pain. Yeah. Oh, just to take this in for a moment, a full pull recording that's not rider cam, like POV.
No. And so you're following. Bobby's trying to follow to keep in range of the drone.
So we'll say at this point we're parked. We're at the top of the staircase behind Drop the Hammer.
Gotcha.
So we've reached the extent of what we need to go.
And and you made it that far distance wise.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's cool.
Because technically we would have done it in 2 takes, but just being able to like move forward, like hindsight, I probably just needed Bobby to move like 50 feet forward.
Right.
But that wouldn't have been as interesting of a video.
Yeah. No, that was a highly interesting video because like you just do not see that. You do not see that stuff on a regular basis.
I think I know why people don't try it.
Because it's hard.
Well, it is super nauseating.
No, I just even in full. Like, I mean, we've done some videos where, we did Mad Hatter, and to capture all of Mad Hatter, I had 3 cameras and I moved them a billion times.
I bet.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of work to showcase an entire trail. So like, going into, you guys went down, and it's funny, we just watched that video with you and Annika. You went to Mina.
Mm-hmm.
To do the full. Those were like full pull lines, right?
Yeah.
Was that all one position too?
For each trail, we do have one position.
Okay, got it.
Pretty much, if you don't see any sort of fade
transition,
then that was all single takes.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't try and hide the fact that we do multiple takes. I think a lot of people do want us, but it's like sometimes it just lines up perfectly, and if you're not paying attention, you're just gonna miss the transition.
Yeah. So, have you had to do things before where you had to like fly the same path to try to pick up a transition point?
I don't like.
Okay.
At some point, the consistency and the line choices is kind of like on point. So it's like I don't have to try. It's just at some point, like, this is how I'm going to follow this person.
It's how you were going to follow them anyways. So by nature, you're in that same position. Spot. You're tilted the same way with the camera. Yeah.
I think, like, for instance, like, that's the difference between, like, one of the things that really helped early on was just chasing random people. And, like, Bentonville and this whole area.
And learning.
Tons of random people.
Yeah.
That are willing. So just getting a variety of different pacing, you start learning to anticipate riders. And then you start to really appreciate, like, people that ride for a living, like Annika. Mm-hmm. Super consistent.
Yeah.
Same line choice every time. You know what you're going to do.
She's textbook.
Yeah.
Same thing with any of the pro athletes, like, Bike Fest jump line. That's just like, it's no guesswork. Like,
no guesswork.
This person's like on the point every single time.
But if you're with people that are not, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's like you're freestyling with them.
Total guesswork. It's like random brake checks.
That's good practice too, though. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's probably might even be better practice to learn how to just freestyle,
how to follow somebody that's not great,
and try to anticipate.
Yeah,
and that's the difference between like at the end of the day, I'm not just flying the drone. That's like something that needs to happen regardless. But then it's like you need to like be intentionally
positioning. Yeah, because like me and you worked on that project we did that Huntley video, and you were on that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I thought was, at first it was my first time using the GoPro the Fusion
app.
Yeah. And so it's amazing to be able to choose your shot, but one of the things that I learned real quickly was if you do not know how to like track a camera and understand keyframes and keyframing as a practice, you could screw that up real easy.
Quick. Like, even the fact that you can choose whatever angle, like, you still got to be in the area.
You have to be in the area, and you have to realize from key point to key point what's gonna work, because sometimes your flight path will change from key point to key point. So I can't remember what it was, but there was a time where it was like you transition from a rear right to rear left or something like that, and the key framing just wasn't working like going up to that point. And I was like, oh, you have to kind of like find that sweet spot where the swooping action happens, and when you get it, it's real satisfying.
Super satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
and then
great.
now that we're all forced with like vertical videos, like you have to get your
Yeah.
framing right. You can't just reframe and post. Like if they're not in that vertical crop, like it becomes like this blurry mess.
That's such a great point, talking about filming portrait versus landscape.
It drives me nuts, but like unfortunately, that's the world. Like I want horizontal video to be a thing again, but unfortunately, it's just not.
My heart hurts.
I think it goes with the short attention span and the
It does.
simplicity
It does.
of just. Well, I'm gonna film
It's
this way.
this.
Yeah.
People look at their phone like this, and they're not like, oh, this takes time.
Yeah, that's way too much
spin
time.
it.
But it's like you're cropped in, you lose all your foreground, everything looks slower. It's like the beautiful landscape. Nope, just super tight crop.
Yeah. I feel sad for content of these days and the use of portrait. I think it's very tough for videographers, photographers to embrace this, because you used to only use portrait for certain things.
Remember when it was a bad thing to do, and you used to like, hey, look at this person with a vertical video,
yeah,
and now it's
what
like
a cheapskate. Yeah. And then you put all this work into it, hours and hours, and then average watch time 5 seconds. You're like, really?
There's that too.
Yeah.
There's that too. But I mean, fortunately, like drone shots are usually the spice. So like if I were editing a video and I was like, okay, we got to grab them in the first few seconds, and I had all these shots, all these different cameras, GoPro, POV, DSLRs, the first shot is drone.
Yeah. Just it's a different angle, right? You don't see it often.
It sets the tone. I think.
It is, and the other cool part about it is not everybody can do it.
There's
Everybody
that.
can grab a GoPro and slap it on their chest or helmet, and that's why you're saturated with GoPro
But even
Chesties,
videos.
hey, even they can do it wrong.
Yes,
I know.
There's still a right way to do it.
But not you're not going to go out there and everybody's got a drone, you know.
True,
There'd be
very true.
Traffic jam for sure, but
I will say, like in the recent, like especially this spring break, I've seen more drones out in the trails than I ever have.
Really?
Like
Yeah.
they're Mavics. I haven't seen many FPV pilots, but like it's
Okay.
definitely becoming more of a thing.
Gotcha. Because like that's a thing. It's like I don't even know. I'm trying to think of like what to like compare it to. But it's like when you see somebody with a DJI, you're like, oh, cool, you got one.
Yeah.
You know, like you're getting in there, you're getting into it.
Yeah.
But when you see somebody, I would imagine, I'm gonna guess here, somebody with like a built machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you know. Like
More or less.
like if it looks customized or custom.
Pretty much, if you see carbon fiber, they're pretty legit.
Okay.
Like if it's not like an injection molded plastic
You're spending
shell,
money on carbon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the fact that if you see them fly and it comes back, then they're even better. Most people, like, it's
It wrecked.
yeah, it's like I don't have a drone anymore.
well, what
had a
level
drone.
is the like? There's like a GoPro version of it, like the Sky Duo or Sky something.
There's
Yeah.
lower levels for sure.
For
I don't
like
really know
follow
all of them.
drones.
Just like for the average Joe that
There
wants
is
to
the
buy
follow
one.
drones. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
right
the
now,
follow
like,
drones,
DJI
yeah,
is definitely catering towards like gateway drones and FPV. So like the
Sure.
Avadas and the Neo, it's like it's kind of like a Mavic, but like it's got like full manual mode where you can kind of just be full control, no sensors to stop you from crashing, and then but eventually it's like it's still held back, and you want full control. Like I don't think people really understand that the FPV drones, it's full manual. Like there's no hover.
You have to fly it.
You
yeah.
have to fly it at all times.
I mean, I've
gotcha.
seen. I think I want to say Hovey
The
X1
X1 hover,
There
X-hover,
it is.
X-hover,
yes,
yeah.
yes, and it's like a total like autopilot. It follows you.
yeah.
But I've seen the shots. They are the most boring drone shots you can possibly achieve.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just as many sensors to navigate and obstacle avoidance. It's like at some point it's super conservative on what you're allowed to do. And it just, once you start getting like, look, for instance, you mentioned the Skydio, like that was the only drone that like would film me, but like the best it could do is probably Fireline. But even then, like every time I'm looking over my shoulder to make sure it's still keeping up. So it's like, sure, it's advanced, but like we're not to the point where you can just send it.
Yeah.
And you're fully confident it's
yeah.
behind you. Yeah.
If you're out in Sedona, out west, where it's open space, no problem. But like, there's no way. I haven't seen it. Like, if a drone can work somewhere here in Bentonville, then they're onto something.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. So what happens if you just finish a trail and it's not there?
Hopefully, it's just saved itself and hovering in like a little corner. But worst case, it might just be in a tree branch.
And you just good luck finding it, or do you kind of have like a tracking device for it? Or
Good luck finding it. Like, hopefully, you can look at the last known footage
The
that
last
was recorded.
shot.
Yeah,
just try
so
to
typically
track it
you
down.
figure it out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That makes sense though. You look at the last shot and see
Yeah,
like
see where it
okay,
is. Like this is where it was.
Yeah, I never thought about any of that.
Some of it might have a beeper, like you can just like turn on a beep and it'll make beep.
Okay.
I think people are getting better because I think inevitably you're gonna lose a drone, especially like these follow drones. People are just trying to push it to do more than it really can, but then it just ends up where it shouldn't.
right.
Yeah.
I do hear like at Kohler, for instance, the North lot. There's a bunch of drones in those trees. Like, there's a couple arborists that get called. They're like, no, like I'm not gonna fetch this drone for you. But so if you're interested in a drone, you might be able to find some in a North lot at Kohler.
Yeah, if you're interested in tree climbing too.
Yeah, if you're an arborist and interested in drones.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
There's everything out there, so there is.
Yeah,
there's a group for that. You just don't know it.
There probably is like the drone hunters.
Yeah.
You know?
There's actually even tools people make. It's just like a really long telescopic pole. It's like a drone saver.
Right.
It's literally just a hook and a super long carbon fiber pole.
Because it's happened so much.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, does that happen to you ever?
Knock on wood.
You're so skilled. You keep it out of there.
Yeah. I very rarely also crash these days.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Cool. I mean, that kind of comes with being pro. I mean, I was actually thinking about like, you know, riding bikes. You know, like some of the most fluent times was when I was just riding so much. Mm-hmm. You know, like I'm not falling because I'm on it all the time. You're flying all the time.
All the time.
So
yeah,
you just get better.
Like, yeah, pretty much. Like, like I said, like we're flying in the most hazardous environment for practice.
Right.
So everywhere I'm flying in real life is way more chill than what I'm doing on the trails here.
You're training. It's like the X-Men. You're training in like the training room.
Exactly.
And like you're getting hit with all this stuff, and you're like, out there, I'm fine, dude.
It's like
messed up in here.
I mean, that's like the big part about Flying Simulator, right? Like, there's a video game you can literally play that will literally get you better. Because at the end of the day, like what we're doing is like muscle memory, right? I'm going to do certain things with my controller, and I am going to expect a certain result. And all we're trying to do is just ingrain that into like our hands.
You're almost kind of doing that anyways, right?
It's like the same.
You're playing a video game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're pretty much playing a video game in the real world. You just put on this headset and you become this drone and off you go.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I feel like I'm remembering back to like military videos where like they were starting to use controllers for the first time because they had realized that the joystick was something that people were used to because like the generation of people they were bringing in were gamers.
Right.
And it was like, oh, you know how to use a controller. Get over here.
Pretty much. It's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you were talking about game. What's the game that people are doing for drone practice or drone training?
So there's many you can choose from, but the one I recommend anyone that's interested in flying FPV is going to be Velocidrone. And the thing there is it's the most physics real. It's not the most realistic looking because at the end of the day, if you want to fly realistically, just go fly in real life.
Yeah.
What you're again looking for is muscle memory and just developing that. And multi-GP is essentially like the F1 of drone racing.
Oh, right.
When COVID was happening and real world events weren't happening, this is the game that's
where they went. Yeah.
So it's good enough for multi-GP. It's going to be good enough for the rest of us.
I see.
Gotcha.
I see.
It's $30. Again, I always tell people, it's like, look, if you're interested, like, don't buy anything. Buy a controller, $150 to $65, and a $30 video game, 10 hours. Like, if you survive 10 hours and you're still interested, then you go buy something. Mm-hmm. No one ever listens. Everyone's like, I want to go buy the real thing, and then they literally come out. It's like, hey, can you fix this drone? And it's just like in pieces. And I was like, yeah. And it's like, no. It's like you go back, like you got to learn that lesson and just fly sim. It's like literally go play a video game for 10 hours.
Yeah.
And you're literally gonna get all your stupid crashes out of the way. Because it's like, again, people think it's like DJI hover. Like I turn it on and it's gonna rise up slowly and stay there.
It does not. It does not
do that.
It does not do that. Yeah. I've flown once and I was like, oh, this is more than I thought it was gonna be. You know, like I was nervous too because like the shot that I did was I had to get real close to water. And for my first time flying, it was on Lee Creek and Lee Creek was flooding. Oh. And so it was like heavy waters and they were kayaking and I had to get close. I had to get like down to the water to get a good shot. Another thing that I learned in that experience was, it's like skateboarding. If you want a good shot, you better get in there, get dangerous, because
that's what makes it interesting.
That's what
right?
makes it. That's when you get like the cool shots.
Yeah.
Drifting, same deal, right?
Yeah. But again, a variety. Like, depends on what you're trying to show off, right? Like, getting the car sideways, if you're just way too close, you're not going to see it.
You're not going to see the angle.
Exactly.
You're going to see some smoke.
Yeah, totally. But maybe vary it a little bit, right? So, what are you trying to, like, capture at that point? Yeah. Like, for me, it's like, sometimes I like to, like, almost get inside the driver, like, window.
Yeah,
right?
like you're seeing him.
Yeah, or, like, just dance around the sides of the car as it's moving. So it just looks like it's sliding. And, like, somehow you're just moving around it, and it's just a unique perspective. Like, I don't know how else you would see that. Like, even standing on the side of the track, being able to just orbit and track a moving car is just, like...
That's cool.
I don't know how else you get that angle.
Yeah.
Like, even with the 360 camera and you reframe, like, it's still a fixed point. Just being able to literally go from, like, the rear wheel smoking to then whipping around to the headlight as it's wiping towards you.
As it's wiping a turn. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, there's competitions like Drift Masters, and when you, or like Formula D, where when you watch those, as a matter of fact, the judges are watching the drone footage to judge.
Yeah.
So if the drone isn't showing the complexity of the situation, then they're not able to judge it properly.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why, like, what you see on Formula Drift, they're not like, they're serving a purpose. It's
cameraman.
Live view. Yeah, exactly. It's not like I'm here to get some like sick clips. It's
totally.
I'm here to, one, live stream, but also two, give the judges a perspective on, you know, the angles of the car, the proximity, and all that.
Sure.
So different variety of, you know, flying for different purposes.
Yeah. I would imagine that it's like you're really kind of talking about the client at that rate. Who am I here for?
Yeah.
You know, like, say, I guess Formula Drift or something. Let's say a driver hired you, or a company that had a car.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I'm going to get sponsor logos. I'm going to get the driver in the car, you know. But if you were hired for the race or the
live stream,
you would like, okay, well, I'm gonna frame things differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You ever get to these events and there's multiple pilots?
Oh yeah.
And how do you?
Yeah.
So for it, ultimately, you know you're at a good event when it's organized. When it is a free for all, that is like a bad sign. Because a free for all will eventually end in a collision of some sort.
Yeah.
I think that's the big difference. I think I also appreciate when I show up and there is that level of organization. It just means that there's been a little bit of pre-planning, like
some thought.
Some thought has been put in. Because at the end of the day, like what I always tell new pilots is like you're always that one incident away from being that person that did that thing, and that's like what you need to like manage risk against.
Yeah,
like you're only one incident away from just being like blacklisted.
Yeah, and then you're the story.
Exactly.
You're that one story that they recall all the time. Remember that one drone pilot we had?
Yeah, and it's just like it's all about being able to fly again, the next event, the next race, the next whatever. It's like there's no reason. Yeah, pretty much. But like some people just like, if it's not your livelihood, you don't care.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like from events that I work, I usually try like, you definitely should have your Part 107. And two, like I know a pilot is serious is when they actually carry insurance.
Right.
That is not a thing all events require, but like as a responsible pilot, like shit happens and you need to be prepared for that and take that seriously. And, you know, I'm always interested in knowing whether people take that level of precaution or not.
Yeah, because it kind of just raises a level of
seriousness
of
everything.
The whole thing, yeah.
And it's like being a pilot associated with an event that something happened, like that's also bad for everyone involved.
Yeah.
So there's a couple layers to that, but typically if there's not organization, we do try and organize, because one of the other things is most people never fly with other people. And
they're not used to other pilots being around.
Yeah. And on top of that, like there's radio frequencies. We're all sharing the same bands. There's only a finite number of channels that we can all occupy, and a lot of that overlaps, even with videography equipment.
I believe that.
A lot of the video transfer stuff we do is all in the 5 gigahertz, 5.8 range.
I was curious.
So if you use like a Teradek or any of the wireless videos, it crushes our signal. So imagine flying and then you get to like this camera area, blackout. and it's just you're done.
And you're done.
You can't see anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So it's like you do need a lot of pre-planning to have a safe event.
Sure. I would imagine the key element that comes into that is working with a production team that's worked with drones before.
Yeah.
Because you as a production manager, I mean, that's always things that I would look out for is like, what does this team need for them to be successful? Like what do they need? What do I need to set them up with so that they're successful?
Right.
And that doesn't always happen.
Well, it's like the Gnar is free for all. You just got lumped into, like, we're talking 5 pilots, 10,
danger
2,
zone,
3.
super danger zone.
Honestly, it hasn't really been that bad. I think a lot of the places I've gone, it's been like a level of organization that's okay. Like,
You've gotten super lucky
I-
in all this.
I don't really run into many instances where it's just like mayhem.
What about just randos just going, I'm going to this event.
Oh,
I'm going
okay.
to bring
So
my...
randos is
That
more
happens?
Of a thing. That happens more often
Yeah.
than not. Because, like, one, they're not aware of laws, like, in the first place. And then second, like, they're definitely not aware of radio signals. It's just like they don't understand. It's like, why? Like, why can't I fly my drone? It's like you're literally blacking out everyone else that's trying to, like, pay
that has
to
been
be here.
hired. Yeah,
to be
hired.
Here. Yeah.
Sure.
And it's like I think at Bike Fest, there's definitely people that just put up drones.
They put up drones. Yes,
And
that's
I'm just
true.
like, one, like, this is definitely restricted airspace. But, like, DJI doesn't fence you anymore. So it's like, it's going to be more of that in the future.
Well,
just...
Well, that's good
Yeah.
to know. Randos, like,
watch yourself.
If you're at an event and you see another drone pilot, like, either come and just talk to us, like, right? Like, we won't be flying all the time. Like, we're not trying to, like, gatekeep the airspace. It's just like we just want a safe event.
Yeah, and also that you would speak to somebody else, and be like, hey, is it cool to fly?
Totally.
And they would be like, hey, actually, this is like we got paid to be here, so.
Yeah, that too. But at the very least, just come talk to us.
Just come talk. Yeah,
or talk to an
communicate.
organizer. Just communicate. Like, you more than often than not, you'll get a chance to put your drone up.
Sure.
Gotcha.
Well, I want to call out Mark Landry. He commented something I thought was pretty interesting. You guys remember the first year X Games when they had the skydiving with a snowboard and a filmer as a competitive event? So it was you skydove with a board, and then a filmer would film with that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, skydiver snow tricks, dumb as hell.
Skydiver tricks.
Yeah, it's like it. I remember it. It was like a skydiver had a snowboard essentially, but it was like designed.
Yeah,
for
and
this.
they do spins and stuff. But then another guy's filming it. Skydiving.
Yeah, and it was all up. I think that's what what Mark was talking about is that it was like collecting a line. Like you filmed a line.
Gotcha.
And the filmer was involved in it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I think is real interesting. X Games, funny, good the connection here. X Games does the Real MTB, Real Street. Dylan Stark, shout out Dylan Stark. He had one. And a lot of it is like videography combined with competition.
Yeah, and plus you have to, like, if you're a skydiving filmer, you have to know how to skydive. And
Well,
so
I
I
mean,
think that's the correlation is you're kind of you're a pilot and filming, and you can't just jump out of a plane and film like.
And then you all of a sudden I
Let's
can
not
film.
film it well.
Yeah, you got to know how to skydive and maneuver and stuff around. So I guess that would be pretty similar.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I think about the Real Street. I think it's called Real Street. Is the sub event of X Games. But there's with the mountain bike stuff, there's a lot of drone shots in that stuff. You've filmed with Dylan Stark a few different times, right?
Again, it's one of those opportunities that present itself because Bentonville is Bentonville, Bike Fest.
Sure.
Every year, Dylan Stark has been in town.
Yep.
And I've been able to just get clips.
Connect with him. Yeah.
Yep. YT opened up shop. We got to do a shoot.
Shout out YT.
And then from there, like that shoot we did last year with Dylan and Eric.
Oh yeah.
That opened the door for Stark Week.
Yep.
And he's like, what are you doing next week after that shoot? I'm like, what's up? He's like, Stark Week. And I was like, let's go. Like, it wouldn't even, like, and it's just
that
happened. Connection.
Yeah.
It just happened, and it was unreal. Like, that whole event was like, current school free ride meets old school free ride versus new school free ride, and they just
pile in,
just let loose on the hillsides of SoCal, and it was just free ride, and it's just there was no better way to capture it than FPV. It's just run and gun, like there's no plan. They're literally gonna like find these illegal lines that have been scratched into the hills. They just finished rebuilding. So the crazy thing is all these lines exist, but they intentionally like mess them up so that no one else can ride them.
And that's right.
So they spend a lot of time rebuilding. It right before they session it. But it's just like, there's no script. And it's just like at some point we're showing up at the spot and we're just going to session it and then we're going to roll out and move to the next one. You can't like set up cameras and it's just not ideal.
You just got to jump out and be ready
to go. Just, and set the drone up, follow them down the trail,
and just
keep going.
And
the shots there, pretty much my life has never been the same since that. It's like, everything's so vanilla after you chase all those people just hitting some of the gnarliest stuff. And I'm just like, insane. I don't even want to chase anything on a blue-green trail ever again. This isn't even, like, we have no elevation.
That's true.
And I'm just like, guys, like, I need more.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's just been crazy opportunities. Again, athletes coming to town. Like, after that project, I was fortunate to connect with Mark Matthews.
I saw that. Yeah.
He was in town for an Arkansas tourism shoot.
I don't know what video it was, but it was the shot where you were kind of like going down like a gully, and there were a couple trees down, and you're cutting through.
Yep.
I love that shot. That was like
again
so
a reason for wide. If that was a vertical video, you would lose everything.
If that was portrait, it wouldn't have the same dramatic effect that it did.
Just meandering down this gully, these tall trees in the Canadian woods, and then all of a sudden, Mark Matthews hits this moon booter and just sends it on this illegally scratch-built line in the woods of British Columbia.
Yeah, BC. There we go.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Like, just having this stuff fall in your lap.
I feel like we got to pull that one
I guess I'm going to British Columbia next weekend.
Well,
I'm going to
we did a 9-day shoot here for Arkansas Tourism where we went all around, checked out all the trail systems, and then ultimately Mark was like, yo, I don't know anyone that does what you do. We should try to figure something out at some point. And then I got the call in like September. He's like, what are you doing next week? And he's like, you want to go on like a backcountry heli mountain bike trip with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. Never been to British Columbia, never been in a helicopter, literally like set foot down. And we were just like flown to the most remote part of like British Columbia. And it's just, we were going to ride the largest rock slabs in the world. Mm-hmm. Dude, I was unprepared for what happened. Like physically, like we were like rock climbing and scaling with like e-bikes. I was just gassed, but like it was just not like, I was just in awe. Everywhere I looked, I was like, oh my God. Like again, no plan. So like the best camera angle is literally the drone. Just put it up, Mark, do your thing,
and go.
Go.
Yeah.
It's like next
This
level.
Is that shot.
Yeah, I saw this too. It's so good.
And yeah, he just builds these trails all over the place.
Yeah.
This is all built by him.
Yeah.
Like if you watch his videos, he's just out there just
he's out there doing it. Yeah. Yeah, he's a great influencer for this, because he really does live it, go out there and do it himself.
And the places he rides all over the world. Like I think he's in Patagonia right now or on the way there.
Jeez.
He's going to go to Cappadocia and ride in Turkey, like those dunes.
Oh, right. Yeah. And then he's going to call you and be like, Anderson, dude,
maybe someday.
Calm down. we need a drone pilot.
Yeah.
After that most recent trip, he was like, where else can we go? I'm like, Mark, just say
dude,
where.
Yeah,
just point on a map.
I'll be there. I'll be there. So you were talking about a filming thing?
So that was the Horseshoe Canyon shot. And that's like, literally, they're like, we need to hire Anderson to do Anderson.
Yeah, I want to hit this full screen with the
You're not allowed.
Here.
You can go on YouTube.
Oh, no. I went full screen this screen. Yeah, so they can check it out.
And like this is kind of like a passion of mine, is kind of getting these one shots. It's just a moment in time. What activities can we just capture?
Yeah, and the fact that they have so much at Horseshoe Canyon, especially adding with the trails now. Mm-hmm. Again, perfect. Drone is the only thing. Only thing that can capture it.
And pretty much all the trails have changed since we've been there, so we got to go back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love the Benton Drones treatment.
Yep.
Let me do my thing.
Get the call for Hollywood, man.
Yeah.
You're working your way there, it seems like.
I would hope so, but dude, it's one of those really entrenched things. It's like once they find the guy, you're the guy until you're not.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's true.
Until you have some serious scandal that removes you from the equation.
It's that one wreck, that one crash,
or that one incident. Yeah, exactly. It's like you just destroy the Ari Alexa, and like that's the end of your career.
Or like you hit Goldie Hawn in the face with your freaking drone.
You hit Tom Cruise.
Yeah, right.
That's
you're done.
You're
done. You know.
Do you look up or study certain pilots that are super credible and just kind of see what they do and
follow them?
Pretty much. The guy that made one shots popular and kind of the whole concept of one shot is that bowling alley shot everyone always talks about.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that guy's Jaybird on social media, and he does like all the one shots. Like recently during Christmas, he was able to fly through the White House. He flew through the Dallas Cowboys training facility. He's done like what's the hockey game that they do?
Oh, the Canada USA game?
No, it was like I don't remember. I'm blanking on it. But he does all the ESPN stuff.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Like he literally flew through the office. Like he's the guy
he gets
that
called
made this
for ESPN
popular.
stuff. Yeah.
And more. It's just the Winter Classic.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then he did the World Series. Like he's the guy that made this a thing. But then from there, it's like you can't always do what that guy did. So it's like I'm just gonna do a variation of it. It's definitely inspirational, and I'm always looking for other pilots that are definitely pushing the envelope on what drones can do, or what people are allowing drones to do.
You gotta pull it back up.
Yeah, this is from Stark Week, for instance.
Stark Week, yeah.
Dreamyard,
is
X Games,
amazing.
like
yeah,
getting to fly at some of these places. Like I'm literally learning about like biking folklore as it's happening. It's just like then you get to stand it. Like again, Mark's videos, like seeing all those videos on YouTube and then standing there in the middle of it, it's like whoa,
I'm here.
I'm here. It's like this is real. Same thing here. It's just like this is unbelievable. This is someone's backyard.
Yeah, dude. And like, just to reiterate, you did this in such a short period of time. You've made such an impact and went so far with this in such a short period of time. From 2020 to now, this is what you're shooting. Bro.
Right? You're shooting Mark Matthews, and then you're like,
Dylan
hey,
Stark.
we're doing something at Huntley's. You're like, that's going to be boring.
Well, now you guys know. I'm just
like,
like,
that's boring.
It's like, now someone needs to at least do a backflip every single time.
No,
like, you got to do something that's going to like high risk, or I'm not interested.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
It honestly makes it as
totally makes sense. Though.
Yeah, and for me, it makes me actually just want to step the bar up a little bit, or aim higher for projects to call you on. Mm-hmm. Like it makes me want to think like what could we shoot that would be weird and like cool, and you'd be down to come out with when you hear the story.
At the end of the day, I live here. Like this is like I want to do more of this here. Mm-hmm. It's just this is coming. It's just not here yet.
Well, yeah, like the Ozzy bike park. Have you shot anything for that?
So I'm trying to get in the door with the drone mapping stuff. Like I literally went out there.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And mapped it myself, and then they literally announced the bike park that day. I was like, "Whoa, this is a good coincidence." Mm-hmm.
And you got paid for that? Or
no, that was just completely unrelated. I mean, long story short, the engineering firm that did all the planning has their own internal drone team.
Oh, understood.
But as a business, again, I'm seeing all this opportunity with drone data collection. Mm-hmm. I'm really trying to work with as many trail builders locally to incorporate drone technology. Like, why would you not, like, at this point, drone surveying mapping is pretty much the same price as a traditional land survey.
Right.
But you get way more data and quicker, faster, and repeatable. Mm-hmm. Like, why would you not want that? Like, at the end of the day, the value in drone data collection is real-world data in real time. Super valuable to all sorts of people.
Right.
And I think trail building, whether it's from your pre-planning, just get an understanding of the lay of the land, like what dirt is actually there. What is the actual, like, contour topology?
Planning, actual planning.
Get actual render. Like, what if you could actually, like, match the earth to what you're, like, envisioning? Mm-hmm. And on top of that, as you're building, why don't you just track it? Like, put up a drone once a week just to see the progress. And once it's done, why not have a 3D model of that so that people coming to visit can just literally zoom around and get like a tour? And I'm trying to do things in that space. Like, for instance, I have a pretty big road trip that I'm planning where I'm pretty much going to go out and digitize all these iconic spots. Like, I want to go out and map as much of Rampage as possible. I want to go out, for instance, Dylan Stark's 420 jam.
Oh, right.
It's going to be the last one at the site. Why not digitize that?
Yeah.
And one of the avenues that I'm kind of thinking about is like, why don't we just make a free ride video game? Like, I can start with a 3D model of all these places.
Yeah.
Like, from a builder's standpoint for Rampage, like, wouldn't it be nice to actually understand, like, the entire terrain?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Right.
And it's just like, same thing with Mark's builds. Like, if he'll let me, like, digitize that. Like, these people are, like, out there building, like, works of art.
Yeah.
That can disappear.
Right.
Why not like preserve them, and then why can't we have like a Tony Hawk version of Free Ride?
Well, I think that it's funny that you say that. I think it was yesterday announced Matt Jones collaborating with a game, and I think it's called, funny enough, not Maverick.
Interesting.
Mavericks,
yeah,
I think is what it's called. And from what I could tell, it looks like a full scale like Free Ride. You know, there was a game that came out not too long ago.
Republic.
Riders Republic.
That's what everyone's talking.
And it's very arcadey. You know, it's just like, you know, it's a Tony Hawk kind of a SSX kind of a vibe. But like this one seemed to be a little bit more simulator riding, and like you said, mapping. I could see. I mean, Bentonville want to get in on the game. Bentonville, get out there, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, a part of that, too, is, like, I'm just going to start mapping our trail systems. Like, it's worth something to somebody, if not alone just me. Like, I'll figure out ways to use this data. At some point, this is what I want to be paid to do, so might as well start building that portfolio now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know why it even would matter, but Drop the Hammer is just so known. Mm-hmm. It's like if you had that space mapped, what could that bring?
Yeah.
You know?
Or even just all of Kohler. Like, again, I'm just
all
like,
of Kohler.
Instead of like, why can't you just fly through and get a 3D tour of Kohler before you visit? Like, understand every nook and cranny.
That's true.
And you can study it, because that would prevent injuries too, because people come out and just have no idea what they're hitting. They're just so stoked.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like trail maintenance, it's like you can literally start like observing trail degradation. Like, how is the trail changing through the
over
weeks?
time?
Ruts, all that. It's just, again, real world data.
Sections that are eroding, and then you can address that stuff.
Got a shout out to the chat real quick. First off, Bomb Squad in the house.
What up, Doug?
What's up, Doug?
Holler. Mark, just wait until they add all the Google Map information into GTA 6.
There you go. That's right.
It's gonna happen. It is gonna happen. And also, like, you know, GTA, like they're going deeper into their physics models. Mm-hmm. So at some point, it's gonna connect similar to this. There's a game called BeamNG. Mm-hmm. It's like a game engine, but it simulates like real world rec physics.
Okay.
And that, you know, people use it for that purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to start using GTA for certain purposes.
Yeah, absolutely.
At some point.
I mean, just being able to plug in the real world into a virtual world is a thing. It's becoming more of a thing. Yeah. And I feel like, at least where we are, drone technology, survey mapping, trail systems, that's like
that's
a whole
how you're
gateway.
Gonna do it. Yeah, that is the gateway.
Right. All right. Well, I'm gonna pull us away for a minute. We're a quick sponsor throw in. First time live. Let's see if this thing works.
Hey everybody, it's Scot Ripple, Gnarkansas. Let me ask you something. How many times has your gear straight up bailed on you mid-ride? Rips, weird fits, the works. That's why we're stoked for this episode's sponsor, Cognative MTB. If you want gear that keeps up, hit up Cognative MTB online or check their shop in Hendersonville and use code Gnarkansas20 for a killer discount. Find them at www.cognitivemtb.com. Cognitive MTB, right on.
Back. But yeah, video games, I really do feel like that's something that is, you know, mapping drones. It's just there. Yeah.
It should be a thing, more of a thing than it is. And again, it's just one of those unique opportunities for where we are, the focus on trail development, trail infrastructure. It just makes sense.
Right. I'm also thinking, I'm selfish in this. I will very much admit this.
It is your show.
It is. Well, I'm going to take it. But so I do sim racing. And one of the things that is just the coolest part about sim racing and mods is that you can scan tracks and then get that data and then make a simulated track.
Of course, yeah.
So, shout out actually, and I'm yet to find it. So Drift NWA, you guys got to tell me where this stuff is. But from what I hear, Passion Play has been mapped.
Yes. As far as I'm aware, I think someone in the community was like, hey guys, I designed this. And
and then just gave it to him.
Gave it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. So how was the doing the Passion Play stuff? How's that been?
I mean, think about it. I was driving 6 to 3 hours to chase drift cars. Now I only have to drive 45 minutes. So that alone, I'm just like, hell yeah. I mean, yeah, again, we had Drake before at Drake Airfield, but again, airport active, no flights.
Right.
And to have like an actual toge event, like
yes.
there's, I don't know of any other American toge thing.
There is one. I will shout him out. It's Drift Appalachia.
Yeah.
I think that they did it before Drift NWA, which is okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to have multiples.
Yeah.
But like for us, like you said, like this is like in our backyard.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you're able to just, like you said, drive 45 minutes and shoot real toge, like it's freaking badass.
Amazing. Yeah. And just the drivers that are coming out, the people that can drift, like
real drifters.
Real drifters.
Yes, yeah. And no offense to like local drifters, because y'all are real drifters too.
Uh-huh.
But it's like when you're having like pro drifters that come out and like know how to put it around.
Like when you have your anchor driver organizer being a Hollywood stuntman that knows how to move a car, it's a spectacle to watch.
Shout out, Jeff.
I just keep thinking, like in the beginning when who would have thought in Bentonville, Arkansas, you were going to have all these opportunities.
Yeah.
Let alone like drifting at the Passion Play. This is a place where they do like I mean, it's shocking they have mountain bike trails and some of the gnarliest riding you can do in Arkansas. It's just like that place is open for all sorts of ideas. There's one wheel races there.
Yep.
Like they're one of the first places to allow. It's just like, yeah, come on,
just come do whatever. Yeah.
Just yeah.
It's gonna expand. I think it's not done yet.
Yeah.
And then even with the drift stuff, that drift stuff isn't done yet either. And I mean, there's more. Before me and you were talking about stepping out of Arkansas just a little bit. Ozark International.
Yep.
Yeah. That I'm really stoked to go there and check that place out.
I think just what they've built with Drift MWA has just been like eye opening to a lot of other venues. It's like, whoa, like
you can.
There's how many people are showing up to just stand on the sidelines and get covered in rubber and smoke.
Yeah.
Again, that's probably one thing that's different is this is open to spectators. I don't think
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It in a very personal way.
Yes.
You're like
you're on it.
You're there.
You're there.
Yeah, you're in the crosshairs essentially, and you just got to be cautious, you know.
Yeah, there's definitely keep out zones. But you can get pretty close to the action.
Yeah. And then also too, like for you, it doesn't seem you can do that all in one run, right?
Not top to bottom.
Not top to bottom. Okay.
At least not in the spring. During the fall, yes, just because less leaves, less signal blockage.
Signal block it's blocked by leaves.
Yeah,
I did not.
I mean,
know that.
if there's enough trees in the way, I mean, it adds up.
Okay.
But yeah, during the fall, we were able to do top down all the way.
Okay.
So it's I forget, it's 8 turns I think, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we can get the meat of the course. It's like 6 turns that we mostly get, and
yeah.
When they're sliding, it is like ultimately as a drone pilot, you're just trying to get in the flow state. It's like Pacific Rim. You're getting like in sync with it's
with
just
the
you're
machine.
locked in. And
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're just
sync with the machine.
like pretty much when I'm flying, like that's all I'm pursuing is like that flow state. Like I just leave my body and I'm just the drone. And I'm just like it's no one's home. Like if you like, I'm able to talk to people and stuff, but like I'm just not present.
Totally.
I'm like in the drone.
I remember when we were doing the Huntley thing, I filmed you, and I filmed you while you were shooting, and I recognized you not being there.
You're just like gone.
Just no one's home.
You're not there.
Like it's a body sitting there breathing, but he's like
which
in
is
kind of
gnarly.
World. Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of like that Ready Player One. You know,
a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what it's like. And I think I didn't realize hindsight all the years of flying Thunderdome, like Throwdown live, dude. Flying live and just knowing you have an audience watching your every move is definitely a skill to have, especially when you're trying to fly live events. It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's essentially your stage presence.
Yeah.
You're on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have like kids tugging on me and stuff, and I'm just like, at the same time, it's like, okay, this is like, little did I know that just like preparing me for worst case scenarios, and it's just like, again, putting myself in those situations just paid off in the long run.
Yeah. It's all X-Men training facility. It's all that.
It's Bentonville, big X-Men playground.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so like when you were starting this, like what actually made you start the drone pathway?
Well, all right, so quick context, my background before doing drone stuff was I was an engineer in 3D printing.
Okay.
Pretty much came up with all the desktop 3D printing companies,
okay,
the DIY maker movement, all that stuff.
Yeah.
During that time, a lot of companies in the 2010s were using 3D printing to prototype a lot of their drones. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. But back then, they were flying analog video, which is like VHS quality, like static. And
I've seen it.
I was like, whoa, how do you fly? Like, you can barely see anything.
Yeah.
And then around the time of COVID, DJI entered the realm of FPV, offering a digital solution. And it was like crystal clear. You can see all the tree branches. Like, okay, this is way more like viable,
pursuable. Right. Yeah.
So I was like, let me try it again. Didn't follow my advice. I tell people now. Went out, bought a real drone, immediately wrecked it, and was like,
don't
whoa,
follow my advice.
Do as I say, not as I do.
That's right.
And then kind of just like, took a couple steps back, put the time in the sim, and then I moved here and was like, mountain bike capital of the world. It's like I'm watching Red Bull and I see all this drone coverage. I'm like, okay, like where's that here? I was like, why don't we have that here? I was like, let me try it. And I just started going out, ran into all the local groms, and I was just like, hey, like, could I chase you? And they're like, sure.
I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do? And it's like,
hey, mom, some dude's asking me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I said their parents were not around. It's like COVID. Like everyone in town that I met during COVID was just like, we just had this private park to ourselves.
Totally, yeah.
There was nobody here. We were just like all
free reign.
Free reign.
Yep.
And luckily, like, just started chasing good mountain bikers. It was like, okay, there's something here. Posted a couple videos. Like, whoa, I've never seen this perspective before. And it's like, okay, let's keep doing this.
Dude, I can relate. Yeah.
And then, long story short, we had our local pro move here, Annika. And from there, it was like, would you want to like shoot some trail videos? That kind of became its thing, and we evolved into doing trail previews and then becoming like a source for showcasing the trail networks we have all over the state.
Oh yeah, I mean those videos that you guys do, I'm pretty sure everybody watches them first before they go to it.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
People see us on the trails like, I just watched the whole playlist of your stuff before we even came here. It's like, it's part of the pre-ride routine now for coming to Bentonville.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's to the point where you go up to the castle. There's that little board. That's all our videos.
Oh,
that we work with Trailblazers to put there.
Oh, sweet.
And like that whole idea of QR codes up at the hubs is kind of becoming a thing that like I've worked with Progressive Trail Design to do it for Turkey Mountain over in Tulsa.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then we're just like, that's a thing. Like, I don't, like, after you're huffing and puffing climbing up, why not just sit there and watch a couple videos, get a little pre-ride?
So you understand what you're about to hit.
Get into.
Yeah.
And then watching like a world-class athlete hit it was like, okay, like at some point, like this is how you ride it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know that I'm aware of this. I think you're actually like telling me like.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I will say I looked at the QR code and it does not have as many like views as I expect it would.
Okay.
But it's up there at the Castle Hub. You can take a look. There's a bunch of QR codes.
I've seen them, but I didn't know anything about it. But I'm gonna check it out.
But I mean, as a local, I don't know that we're like looking for that stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, but and that's fine. It's not for us. It's for
the visitors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, I think I'm like more blown away that it's such a good idea. Like that. To like you said, you're huffing and puffing. You get to the top. Why not just chill and check a video of the trail you're about to hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like.
Genius. So it's like we're trying to find
right
just avenues where it's like, where can I, like, more or less, like, where is my drone perspective valuable? And then try and plug in there. And it's been a pretty long road to, like, sell the idea, but, like, 5 years in, we're definitely getting traction now.
Yeah.
Like, helping, like, a lot of the content we shoot, her channel is just, like, exploded. We've been doing it for 2 years. Like, I think she's made, like, increased, like, 7,000 subscribers.
Oh, it's like since you guys have been working together?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
So it's just like consistent content.
So how long have you been in Bentonville?
I moved here October 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, so you moved here and did it. You started like...
You moved here to like explore drone piloting?
Yeah, which was it?
No.
Which chicken and egg situation are we chasing here?
So I moved here to ride one wheels on the mountain bike trails. This is like a one wheel mecca. Like some friends were like, "Yo, like I found this place in Arkansas. It's like endless trails." Because I was originally from the Houston area before moving here. Okay, flat, very low elevation. Like we had just super steep hills that were like
one and
artificial.
done.
Yeah, exactly. You would just go super fast, and hit a feature, and you're done.
Yeah.
And then we came here, and I would just ride, and it would just keep going forever and ever. And I was coming here once a month for 6 months in a row. Then full steam COVID. I was like, why live in a city when everything's closed? Let's just move here.
Gotcha.
Had to convince my girlfriend to let us move here. She's like, because she visited a couple times. First time we lived here, we stayed in Bella Vista out in Metfield. Nothing out there.
Yeah.
She was like, we can't live here.
You're sure you want to move to this?
And then second, we stayed, downtown, like near to downtown square. And she's like, okay, I can walk to Onyx. Like, we're good.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
And then we ended up.
There's a nice coffee shop. I can live here.
Pretty much. And then we ended up moving like on the other side, pretty much by Kohler. And that was like that sold me on the
it's
place.
Beautiful.
Like I was like, I need to live with Fireline in like spitting distance.
Yes, absolutely.
And, like we just rode one wheels, and up until this year, I had a one wheel shop as well. We did all that, service repair for any e-wheel, whatever.
Right.
But ultimately, simultaneously did the drone stuff as well, and drone stuff just took off. And I'm just like, I can either be meh at a couple things or really good at one thing. And I just doubled down. Like again, hindsight, like looking back, last year was really the turning point. Like everything just kind of worked. Like I just put in the work, just head down, just chugging away.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden things clicked. I didn't realize it clicked. I still thought, I was like, man, like I don't think this business is gonna work. Like I think I'm failing. But like in the middle of it, like I'm totally succeeding. It was hard to see.
I feel like it happened super fast, man. I mean, I saw you around, maybe not necessarily knew who you were, but I just knew I've seen that guy before, riding, and then next thing you know, oh, he's got a drone, and then next thing you know, you're
God, this dude's on my ass.
The dude. You're running it. You're running the scene.
Yeah. I was trying to catch the drone, man. I'm slow, but anyways, I was I just in retrospect thinking about it, man, I feel like I saw you around before I've ever seen you flying a drone, and that was just not that long ago. Man, it seems like.
Well, remember, like statistically, all businesses fail within 92% of business.
Right.
So I'm gonna survive. Like that's the
thing.
That's
right. You made it past.
I'm actually gonna make it, and it's
you made
like,
it past.
Whew.
Yeah.
And again, it's like of all places to start a drone business, this is probably the last place. But like it turns out, it's actually the best place.
Yeah.
Like all the drone activity with Walmart being like.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. It's not only the commerce that's coming through this space, but it's also the lack of other people in the space. That you're like, is there another drone company that's around here?
I see a bunch. I just don't know if they're like. I don't see them. Mm-hmm. I look like if you Google, like luckily SEO wise, like we're the top hit at this point.
Yeah.
But like you see other entities out there. But again, I don't know of any. Like I'm just in the community. I have like embedded myself, and it's just like you want drone stuff. This is the guy.
I think, and it's also, I mean, you gotta like tip the hat to quality too, because like when you put out quality content, people say, I want that shot.
Yeah.
Like I'll pay for that. So like it does come with that, the portfolio.
Yeah.
Like you have a portfolio that people can view and purchase off of that. And also, one thing I do like about your website, I saw whenever you go to contact you about a project, you set a base price right out of the gate.
Yep.
And it's basically a barrier of entry, but it's also letting people know that you're serious.
Yeah.
Like if you want to work with me, I'm serious.
Yeah.
And
this is what it costs.
But you need to be serious about working with me too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people beat around the bush with numbers. I'm just like,
yeah. Why?
this is it.
Here's my number.
Here's my number. It's like yes or no.
And it might be a little more the more you ask. the more you ask of me.
If you say no now, you come back. I'm going to charge you. There's no tax.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Though I think there kind of should be. It's like if you're going to like set up, a precedence of, like, yeah, you want to work with me. Okay, here's my schedule.
At the end of the day, too, it's like I understand the value. It's like, again, who else is out here doing this? Mm-hmm. Like, there just isn't. And it's like I understand supply and demand. Like,
yeah, and there's the other thing too. Well, like I mentioned before, when we were talking about editing in the shots, like when we did Huntley, I knew we were starting with the drone shot.
Yeah,
it was like it's the premier shot that sets the scene and tells the story.
Right.
Do you want to pay for that?
Yeah.
Do you want that as a part of your project, or don't you?
Yeah.
You can just as easy not hire you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The way I look at it is like I pretty much spent 4 years just trying to sell FPV drone as a business. It's just at this point I've got a portfolio. If you like what you see, this is what it costs. If you don't, then there's nothing I can do at this point to convince you otherwise. Mm-hmm. And it's just like I had to just be at peace with. Like, I established my value.
Sure.
If you just don't see it, then we're just not on the same page.
Yeah, it's just like drawing a line in the sand. This is it.
And then, the big battle for me was also just defeating, like, imposter syndrome. At some point, like up until recently, I hated everything I did. I was like, this is too shaky. This sucks. This framing is terrible.
How dare I?
Color sucks.
Let's take that down.
Right. Yeah, it's like, why am I even, like, but then at some point, you just do so much good work. It's just like, your imposter's like, bro. You're doing
Chill
good.
out, dude. Don't
no,
worry
just like,
about
hey,
it.
we got this.
Yeah.
It's like I have nothing to say, and it's just like, yeah, the opportunities speak for themselves. Like the athletes I get to work for, the opportunities I'm now seeing is just like, okay, like, I'm in a good spot. Like,
yeah, dude, man, you're doing all kinds of stuff, man. It's obvious that you're good at what you're doing.
And it's like at the end of the day, like it's an obsession, right? Like all day I just dream about droning, and it's just like that's the difference. Like I meet other people, and it's like. I do this, moonlighting as a drone operator, and I'm just like, you can't like, do the same thing and not be like fully invested, and I think that's the big thing. It's like you either choose to like fully commit and succeed or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you half step it, then that's the result.
Yeah,
you get out of it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, do you have any any projects that are coming up that are like real interesting?
Yeah.
That you can talk about?
Yeah, I can talk about all of them. I don't think at this point anyone's signed any sort of embargo.
Okay.
Most recently, I was out at Windrock for Tennessee National.
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to fly at Windrock for pretty much ever since I heard of Windrock. Mm-hmm. So Tennessee National Red Bull event just happened.
Yes.
And I went out there, a buddy of mine, Carson Fletcher, 9.5 MTB.
We're fitting to pull this
finally got me in. Because like I tried to get last year, same event. And they were like, no drones. And then this year, don't know why, they just said yeah.
Really? Interesting.
And just completely blew everyone's mind. Everyone was like, holy shit, like that drone guy is fucking fantastic.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Love it.
Then the shots came. A lot of the post-event recap guys really loved the stuff. And
I got to show off
Calhoun,
our local,
the
local
next guy.
homie. Yeah, that's
dude.
right.
Dude, I've been trying to get with Jared. Long story short, if I wasn't doing all this, I was hoping to follow him along his whole DH career this season.
Oh,
just kinda,
gotcha.
Like,
that'd be cool.
This guy's paying his own way. He does have some sponsors, but he is a privateer, local trail builder, absolute shredder, and we does not get the local support I think he deserves.
Dude, and that is why we're having him on this season, because we had that same recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he seated 67th and race day 41st with like a mishap in like one of the gnarliest, wettest, slipperiest.
Yeah, he crashed, right?
Yeah.
Well, he just came off his line, his brake spot.
Yeah.
But like 41st, and there was like top 30 world DH racers out there.
Yes.
Dude, this guy.
Yeah.
He's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
And then just rubbing elbows with networking with everyone. Like, I'm just trying to expand beyond this bubble, and I think this angle with drone technology is how downhill racing should be viewed.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I like love this, dude.
Yeah,
it's like
and
you feel like you're
Along for the ride.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're just being towed.
So like it's good for the spectator. As an athlete, this is also film you can review afterwards.
Right.
For the event, for the brands, whatever. This is just good content.
yeah.
So I think just getting out there is one of my agendas. And ultimately, I did well enough here. I got a meeting with Monster for their downhill series, and
Okay,
pretty much I'm flying out to Rock Creek tomorrow morning
Oh, nice.
to do that event, and hopefully more. I just like this is what I want to do, and I'm just trying to get there.
I love that you pinpointed on the fact that this is the way that you think the shots should be achieved, because you're so right that this shows so much more than the traditional POV.
Tripod. Yeah, or tripod in the woods.
I'm gonna go tripod in the woods. But, so my original observation of mountain biking was that there was too much POV.
I see.
And I said, that's where I brought my cameras in. I don't do drone stuff, so like I just didn't even think about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I just did what I could do. But to go a step further, this, like, again, we were talking about Mad Hatter and me having to set the camera up a billion times,
yeah,
multiple cameras, and then have to go through all the footage. This is one shot.
Yep.
This is one shot, and it shows everything.
Everything.
I can't overstate enough that this does need to replace the POV view of today. And
it'll unsaturate the
yes,
yeah,
the whole GoPro thing, because everybody can just do it.
Yeah, because
it's so saturated.
Right. It's not. It's like we've talked about this before. It's not like it's not bad angle to have POV, rider POV. It's just that you need to play with that.
Right.
Yeah, you need to use it here and there, but not
needs
like,
variety. Again, it's
absolutely.
I mean, currently this is such a new perspective, but
Sure.
I think at some point it's going to be the same consequence. It's like you can't just have FPV everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've got a good runway for it, but like you still need to vary it.
Right.
But yeah, I think like I've been trying to sell the idea of FPV for live stream in the U.S. forever. You watch UCI in Europe and elsewhere, it's happening.
Oh yeah.
It's just not here.
We were talking about or I brought up Drift Masters and Formula Drift. They've already been doing this.
Yeah,
Yes.
so many events. Like Supercross is doing drones in the stadium. Yeah.
Oh really? I
Yeah.
don't think I knew that. Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I think we're just gonna keep trying to push these angles, and I think we'll just see where it goes.
Yeah.
I think it's going, man. I think you're doing a great job, like just implementing
Curtis Downs,
yourself.
dude.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, wait.
And
this
selling
guy,
it, people are just all about it.
this guy's
That
like
was it.
anti-gravity. Like, he has so much time in the air. It's insane.
Let's go full with that one, baby. Let
Yeah.
the people see. Gulp.
And he's not even on his bike when it lands.
I know. That was the crazy. The
like-
fact that he was able to land that,
yeah.
roll away with that one.
Dude, he was actually like my drone spotter for a while. He was just trying to like
rad.
size up I just plugged in my phone and he was just watching. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to go hit this line now. There you go.
Well, and honestly, as somebody who is like, I'm kind of selfish when I see like somebody filming something good.
Yeah.
Like, okay, hey, I'm gonna get a shot too. I'm gonna hop in.
Yeah.
You got me. Yeah. I want that good shot.
Yeah, if you ever see me out in the wild shooting, like I always have like a screen with me. You can literally watch what I'm doing in real time.
Right.
Oh,
right.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Such a good shot.
Like that's what we tried to do at Thunderdome for a while. It's just like I set up the TV.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you can just
I remember that.
And again, just all that free work just was practice.
Sure.
And it definitely pays
Just
off.
training. Yeah.
And then like just running into other athletes, like these people are like, dude, I've never seen this before. And he's just like, yeah, let's collab.
Yeah, you're providing like super value. It's beyond just what you're providing for like say Tennessee National, you know.
Yeah.
Like this is,
and it's just a huge network. Like you're networking yourself. Like, you know, these guys are all telling everybody else. You know what I mean?
no, the networking plays into the next job because
absolutely.
like when like I think about it all the time. Like if especially me being a production manager, like it's so ingrained in me to like get contacts.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I know a person that can do this. I know a person that can do this. And if somebody's standing around me and like, man, we are screwed if we don't find a drone pilot that can fly here next week.
Yeah.
If I know somebody, that is an invaluable tool right there. Yeah. So who is this?
This is John T. Williamson. First debut from New Zealand in the U.S.
Oh,
DHC.
New Zealand? Shout out Octodad. We got one of your homies here.
Dude, he's a ripper.
Do you know this guy?
Yeah. Like, if you
New Zealand's not that big. Oh.
I was blown away. This is a practice run, and this dude is seasoning it up. I'm just like, he's just having fun out there.
Yeah. It's not,
Unfortunately, race day, dude, he was hauling, got off his line, and launched his bike into the ravine. He was definitely...
He's ripping.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's like all these jumps, he's like taken care of.
Nobody else was seasoning it up like this. I'm like, all right, you're the clip of the day.
Yeah, so let me see.
Stand out.
I want to hit it again, but it's like this one. How he clears this one. Or no, it's the next one.
It's the next one. After
it's the next one.
Yeah.
Because you can tell that you need a lot of speed. Like you got to like really pump in right here.
Yep.
And he's like holding all this speed here. This one.
Yeah.
Like how much he went into that the pocket of that one. He just has all the speed.
He was cooking.
That's great. Super
that's
great.
gotta be so much fun.
So like,
just
I mean,
to watch these guys rip.
Yeah.
Luckily, I literally went and did this event just for access. So like, oh, you're gonna let me in? Like, I'm finally gonna go do it.
Oh,
and then luckily
gotcha. Okay.
in post, the Gravity Co-op guys that do the replay afterwards, they're buying some of the clips for their broadcast or their repost. But then I'm also selling all these clips to racers as well. Like that's a business model that I've always tried. But like I just put everything up on my YouTube, and you can rewatch it and get like my perspective on the race. But then if you want the clips, you just find your timestamps and you purchase it on my website. So we're gonna try that business model again because again I'm pretty late to this year's budget, so I just have to get creative with how I can get paid to keep doing this.
How to monetize it in a way that's effective, efficient.
So YouTube gets me views, but that's also a way for people to browse and then check out through my website. So again, just constantly trying to like, sure, I'm not getting paid to be there, but like how else can I subsidize it? Because I'm willing to put in the work. It's just at some point it does need to be sustainable.
Sure.
Right.
Like,
You
and
can't just keep working and
for
not
free.
have return out of it. Yeah.
And I think people see that. Like, for instance, like this time going to Rock Creek, like people are putting me up. They're giving me a little bit more money and things like that. But it's just, again, I'm still trying to recoup most of my funds through other means somehow.
Yeah. Because even still, I mean, getting flown out or getting put up, you can't come back with like, okay, it was a free trip, but I didn't make any money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long term.
Yeah.
I'm willing to, like, again, luckily, like, other business sides are good, like drone data collection, like, pretty much funds everything.
It's part of the transition for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But you do want to make money.
But I mean, like going to a place like Windrock and just again being the drone person there.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm here.
Yeah.
You want to hire me?
Yeah.
You know?
Like, this puts me on the radar for teams, athletes, brands, and you can't, like, there's no other way. Like, up until recently, I wasn't even allowed to fly there, right? So getting the access is kind of, just getting the foot in the door is a start. But, like, once your foot's in the door, you got to do something.
Yeah, you're golden every time you go there now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, I cannot look away from it, but the fact that you're at a Red Bull event and you're shooting and the Red Bull logos are going on your videos.
Yeah.
It's like at one point the dots are going to connect.
I hope so, man. But it's one of those things too. It's like the Red Bull already has their pilots, and until you do something to not be that guy, it's just going to be hard to unseat. Like, same thing with Formula Drift. There's one guy that does that, Nitro Cross, and all these events. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Like,
once you start getting to the top, then it's like, okay, now
now you're just duking out with entrenched pilots. It's just
like the people that are in the space and already are looking for the work.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, just so you know, like, we already had this gig.
Yeah. And again, I think that's part of it. It's like, I'm not trying to poach or anything. I'm just like, again, I'm going to find other unique. No one wants to chase people really fast downhill in the woods, like, for the most part. Like, if you look at UCI, it's pretty much like a straight shot, wide open corridors. Like, this is a little bit more sketch than what I've seen in terms of coverage.
Yeah.
But even you've shot some UCI stuff, right? You haven't?
None.
Okay.
I think I've always been denied access as a drone operator for any UCI event at Centennial or Fayetteville.
Centennial, yeah. So I was thinking Centennial. We're talking about like opportunities to get your foot in the door. I'm just thinking like there's a great event right there, right down the road, and some of your drone piloting style could really amp up their energy that they need in those videos.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like that.
I think like we talked about before the show, just being consistent and just when that door does open, they're either thinking of you or you're like, hey, I'm there,
I'm here,
I'm still here,
And I think that's it. It's always like a campaign for awareness. Like I think one of the key takeaways and just standing around talking to people, it's not like who you know, it's actually who knows you, right?
Totally.
That's the
absolutely
key.
Yeah.
It's like that's actually the bigger lesson as of late. It's just like I'm like instead of just jumping and screaming in Bentonville, Arkansas only, it's like just
branch out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Branch out. Like be visible. Like you want to do this, like try and get into these places. People are, you get to know, like figure out why they're saying no. Like do whatever it takes to finally get the opportunity you want. And again, I don't know why they let me in Windrock, but like I would like to. But again, I'm not questioning it anymore because now it's opened the door for a Monster Downhill series.
I think it's more being in that space.
Yeah.
I mean, like I know. So I worked production work in Northwest Arkansas for years. Like I would say at least 10 years before I stepped out of the state. When I did step out of the state and I started touring, immediately I started getting offers.
Gotcha.
But it was because I stepped out when I started like exposing myself to a broader
audience
in a larger subset of the same skill that I was already doing, but being in those circles, it was just a phone call. It was like, oh hey, are you available for this? I haven't called anybody. Can you do it?
Yeah.
And then, that stair steps to the next gig and the next gig. And I think that Northwest Arkansas is really small, but it's a great hub.
Absolutely.
To be located at.
Yeah.
I was always felt so fortunate that I could just go any direction, north, south, east, west, and do work. Yeah. Some people are stuck on the West Coast. Some people are stuck on the East Coast. So centrally located.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're getting more access also. I wish the airport it's
the
growing.
Airport.
It's getting better.
Absolutely. That's a key point.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they got Southwest, then you'll know they made it.
We made it.
When we get the cheap flights, that's when you know.
I know they've been trying to get Southwest flights in there, but
they have been. Yeah, I can't remember what the last move they did, but they did a move recently that connected more. I don't remember what it was exactly, but it was something.
I mean, ultimately, the terminal is expanding, so there's more capacity. Like, that's a part of it. It's just like, dude, it's a tiny airport.
It is a small airport.
Yeah.
But it's also like not that used. Like every time I go there, I'm just walking right in that piece.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's 5 minutes max.
Yeah.
And you're in.
Yeah.
We'll look back on these days and like, dude, I spent an hour in TSA.
Remember when we just walked through? That's true. That is going to happen.
Lines, man.
That is going to happen at some point. Well, yeah. So like, man, what about, what's the next stages for the growth of the business? You talked about the drone shop.
Yeah. So we are now kind of producing our own like custom drones.
Okay.
There's like one of the crazy parts about FPV drones that I notice is every single drone has a dedicated video transmitter. That's essentially what shows the video back to the goggles.
Yep.
Each of that is typically $230. So I have 30 plus drones. Each drone has $230 in it that is only used when I'm
for
flying
that
it.
One. Yeah.
So as someone that isn't doing, the crazy freestyle flying where they're in like abandoned buildings and doing flips and flops through like chimney pipes and things like that, I don't need to withstand a 100-mile-per-hour crash with a brick wall. So I can go back and I can redesign drones to be more modular. Like, at the end of the day, like that video camera that I'm using is now good enough to replace an action camera. Why can't I just pop it off of one drone, put it on another?
Yeah.
Same thing. It's just kind of reconfiguring it to be, sure, it is a more fragile drone, but as someone that flies the work that I do, I'm it's not high risk.
I mean, like you said, it's been a while since you've even wrecked. So,
Well,
I mean,
knock on wood. During the Tennessee event, during practice,
there you go.
It was actually a seeding run. Just got a little too close, and I bounced on the ground. And then just kind of tumbled out beyond the tape. So that was the most recent. Again, that was just... it was my fault. I'll take that, but just like it happened. But I was overdue.
Yeah. No, and I, like I said earlier, you got to get down in. You got to get in there.
You got to
get that shot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I was pretty much like
it.
on his tire. The dirt was coming up. I just didn't have a good sense of where the ground was, and just bounced, and then just did a tumble.
Yeah.
But
no damage.
It broke a propeller, but nothing serious. I was literally back up and flying within 5 minutes. I literally flew down the hill like running. I was like, is everyone okay? Luckily, it just like tumbled and like someone did try to pick it up, but in the future, if you're listening, if you see a drone go down, do not pick it up.
Alone.
Just leave it alone. Someone should be coming very quickly to pick it up.
The pilot is in tow.
Yeah. And then it was just again just in the zone. Just it happened.
Yeah.
Luckily, nothing happened and everything was good, but. Again, super overdue.
Yeah.
So now I'm good, and I'll be extra vigilant going forward.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's how I feel about wrecks. I had a wreck recently, and you just got to get it out of the way.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Like at some point, you do need reminders. Hopefully, it's a very low risk reminder.
Yeah.
That you should just be on guard for that. So yeah, we're developing our own drones. A lot of what we're doing also is building our own custom cameras. And when I say that, we're pretty much disassembling off-the-shelf cameras.
Got it.
Because with drones,
repackaging them.
rehousing,
Yeah. Okay.
like pretty much the Blackmagic Micro G2 is kind of the camera we're working with.
I didn't know that.
A lot of it like is just all heat sinking, right? But guess what? When
Where
you're flying,
can you spread it? Yeah.
Or you just take out the heat sink because now we're flying through the air and that's your cooling.
So you're running with no heat sink at all.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like air cooled.
Yeah, air cooled. We're trying to like. With
it.
FPV drones, it's all about cutting weight. So how do I get the best image quality with the lightest weight?
amount of weight.
Yep. And that's kind of what we're exploring. And then drone mapping, like right now, like if you're in the drone space, you're definitely wary about the future of DJI and being able to purchase their products in the US. Just it's always imminent to be like blanket banned or it's just the availability is just kind of suspect in the near future. So we're looking into kind of replacing some of those drones that we use. For instance, all the mapping stuff. If you follow my stories, like we've been investigating into fixed wings and RC planes a lot lately and crashing them a lot.
Yeah, nice.
But like we want to use those kind of things for drone mapping because like right now we're using like a Mavic 3 Enterprise.
Okay.
And it's like it does maybe like 200 acres per battery, so like 30 minutes of flight. Okay. We want to be able to do like 1,000 acres with one flight, and that just gives us way more coverage. Planes are way more efficient than quadcopters. Just constant spinning motors versus using lift and physics. Yeah. It'll just coast and be able to do that. So I see the opportunities where people are paying me money, and I would like to kind of own that vertical. So how do we develop the tools and leverage more or less open source technology to build, U.S. manufactured tools and resources for these kind of services. So I'm my first customer, and I imagine if I build the solution for me, there will be other people out there that may want to purchase it as well. So just a couple avenues of trying to build products and the kind of that pipeline of development. And then there's still just constant projects. Recently I asked the internet, I was like, hey, like I'd really like to fly through the new Walmart campus and do like what I did for Horseshoe Canyon. And someone answered. So we've got a lot of cool projects for the new Walmart campus, the Walmart Museum. I'm getting to be a drone operator for the world's largest retailer and kind of really showcase a lot of their assets here in town. So there's definitely a lot of that work coming. And then I'm pretty much taking that massive road trip to go scan like 3D biking areas of interest, but pretty much going from here to Virgin, Utah, out west into Santa Cruz. Gonna probably hopefully meet up with some one wheel folks, shoot stuff with them in Santa Cruz, then go all the way up to Vancouver Island, and pretty much I'm pretty much trying to repeat last year, but with like with a plan.
With strategy.
Yeah. Because last year I was just in a daze.
You were thrown into that.
Yeah. I was
really.
like, okay, like this is all happening.
Because it was all happening, and so you're just getting tugged around. But now you can.
And then like half of the content we shot last year never saw the light of day.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, long story short, there was some drama with the sponsor of Stark Week.
Oh, Mary Jones.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
he made it clear.
Yeah.
Dylan made it clear. It's all good.
And then it just if you watch his videos, he does use some FPV, but dude, there's so much. Like I'm about to do a whole 7 days of Stark drop of all the FPV shots, and then same thing with Mark Matthews, like the Arkansas tourism shoot. I think they're slowly trickling out a couple of those shots, but like there's like half a terabyte of footage, like all shot in Blackmagic. That's just like sitting.
Yeah.
And then I accidentally deleted like a critical hard drive recently.
No.
But luckily it was like scattered across multiple drives, so like I'm piecing back together a lot of last year too. So now I'm like, okay, like thank God, but like let's go back and revisit all that, because like I spent 13 days in British Columbia with Mark, and dude, we barely
scratched the surface.
Like, have you guys been up there?
Wow, no.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You'll never want to come back.
Yeah.
Like
Really?
Dangerous.
everywhere I looked, I was just like
amazing.
We didn't even touch Whistler, and I was just like, amazing. We're on Vancouver Island most of the time, and I was just like pretty much like this one town called Cumberland is pretty much like all of Arkansas trail network in one town.
Whoa.
It's just this crazy network, and it's like actual elevation.
And I've heard that too. I've heard that people think Whistler is the place you go, but when you go up there, they're like, no, this isn't where the cool stuff is. You want to come with us?
Yeah.
Well, isn't like Bellingham over there too?
Yeah,
and stuff
Bellingham, and then Squamish.
Yep.
Squamish is another.
Yeah, that's like mainland too. Like Vancouver Island.
Vancouver Island, is different.
A whole yeah.
That's crazy.
And then the crazy part over there is like, I was like, Mark is like, do I need to watch out for any like poisonous plants or bears? Was definitely a thing. Like story there is ultimately the trip we took for the heli. Like our guide like tore open his like Achilles, and we had to cancel our trip early, so he had to get helied out. And at the last night, it was just me and Mark, no tent, a can of bear spray. Just like we had found some bear dung like nearby, and I was like, dude, is this bear poop? And he's like, is that berries? It's like, yeah. And I was like, are we okay? He's like, dude, that's pretty close. So we just like slept in the open like exposure,
so you could see,
so we could see everything. And then just a can of bear spray between us. Nothing happened, but like it was like that. But
crazy.
I was asking him, I was like, do we have to worry about poison ivy, poison oak, or ticks or anything? He's like, no. Like nature is not trying to kill you up here. It's like you can go wherever and you're fine.
I think you just sold me. Arkansas, like I'm so sick of
ticks. Okay.
Ticks, poison ivy.
And like the few trails we were able to do, like I pretty much tried to go up there and do like the whole Bentonville trail preview with him. Right. But dude, those trails go forever.
You go so deep into the backcountry that like not even an e-bike's gonna save you.
E-bike saved me. That's the only way I got around. Yeah. But it's just
that's good to hear.
Like there's so much more to do.
Is there any like e-bike restrictions like there is in some places out there?
Not that I encountered. Yeah. Like I didn't.
Not that you knew.
Yeah, not that I was aware of.
Nobody said anything.
But yeah, just gonna repeat that and see what happens.
Cool. Well, man, you got not only have you done so much in the short time that you've been this, but you also have so much ahead of you that seems like it's gonna compound.
Only talking to you guys do I now realize that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Things are going to get pretty crazy really soon.
They are, man.
I think you need a team, brother.
Yeah. I guess that's another thing. Like the part of that drone meetup was to find more local operators.
That's a good point. Yeah. You got to find people in the space that are really enthusiastic, and you kind of need to like suss them out. And no offense, guys, I don't know if you're watching. Say, well, you weren't being sussed out. Yeah, I promise. Yeah. But it was more of like seeing if they fit. It's like a vibe check, but it's also like a skill check, like are any of these people like really good, exceptionally good,
right?
And getting to survey that.
Yeah, and it's kind of create opportunities to where those people can come out of the woodworks. Like I'm actively looking as I'm traveling. I'm like, if anyone ever sees a drone operator flying a drone like me, please tell me, because I want to be their friend. This is like I'm actively looking, and
it's a niche space.
And I will say most of the people, like we touched on it briefly, like just disappear. It's like at some point it is a grind, and if you don't get it, like you just give up.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough.
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not something we said it in the beginning. There's not a book for this.
No.
You don't just like get to research and be like, all right, that's what I do.
Yeah. I mean, this is
Drone Operator's Guide to the Universe.
Yeah, there you
Maybe
go.
That's probably more lucrative than anything I can do.
Dude, sell a course. Sell a course. I'm gonna sell a course.
This was a course, man. I'm learning so much. I didn't have no idea.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I think was cool about this episode is there's a lot. We went over a lot of instructional stuff of like how this works.
Yeah, or at least in this case, how
in this
works.
case, for your case, yeah. And it's not going to be the same for any other person, but I mean, there could be somebody that simply just wants to fly drones for farming. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or at the end of the day, like I think one of the things that I've learned, like now as deeper into my adult career, is you can't just do things that you're just passionate about. Like at the end of the day, like the numbers need to work too. Like up until recently, if I didn't love it, I just wouldn't do it. Yeah. And then I would just leave a lot of great opportunities on the table just because I was like, like I'm not interested, like I'm out. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out to be like $1 billion opportunity. Mm-hmm. I'm like, damn it, should just stayed around for a little bit longer.
Right. Well, I mean, you don't drift, but like you're getting calls for drift jobs. Right. So
it's just I think just having an open mindset and just actually seeing opportunities for what they are. It's just like, I think people want to be handed an opportunity. It's like, this is what you're supposed to do, but it's just like, it presents itself, but it's like up to you to figure out like what to do with it. Right. There's not like a flag that appears and is like, this is the money opportunity. It's like, you have to put in the work to get the value out of it.
Right.
And you need to do something to put yourself in a position where that presents itself.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that, you know, you're pretty much embarking on an industry that's being created right now. Mm-hmm. You're forging the path.
And that's like a recent perspective change. Just like, wait, like literally, like as an entrepreneur, you're always looking for barriers to entry, right? It's like, what can I do that not many people can do? And like recently I was like, I literally have this certificate that lets me like print money out of the sky. It's just like
I need to use this certificate,
or just like treat it that way. It's just like, wait, not many people are allowed to put drones in the sky and like charge people money for it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, now that I can do that and very few people can't,
how do I use that?
How do I use that?
Yeah.
And it's just, again, you need to immerse yourself wherever you are, figure out like for here is mountain biking. I was like, mountain biking, FPV trail chasing isn't the moneymaker, but it's just like it leads to awareness. Like
it's the eye candy.
Again, Thunderdome doing that brought me opportunities from people in the community. It's like, oh, like for instance, I flew for Fixer to Fabulous a few times. Nice. On HGTV. Yeah. One of the local parents, her kid was just always at Thunderdome, and when they needed a third string drone operator, they're like, I know a guy. And it's just like, again, just being super visible was what led to that opportunity.
It's like I said, man, it's all about the contact. It's about people knowing that you are somebody to contact, you know?
Yeah.
And then, hey, here's my phone number.
Yeah.
There's a lot of headquarters here, so you wouldn't think that there's those kind of connections, but you know, with Walmart being here and all the different brands have their own headquarters.
Offices,
and I think hindsight, that's a big part too. It's like, again, like the Walmart effect is real. It's just like there's people that are here that would not be here if it wasn't for Walmart.
Yeah.
And that creates unique opportunities.
I always tell people, man, everybody on my block, I don't think anybody, there's 40 houses on our block and nobody's from Arkansas.
Yeah. I
originally.
feel like
they're all from somewhere.
Like recently, I think it was like less than more than 85% of the people are not from here, and I feel like it's like 95% now.
Yeah,
it's like it's
wild.
Yeah.
as a local of this area, it's like you want to be embracing to people coming in, but at the same time, you think like you're losing what we had, like the fabric of what we had, but at the same time, if you want to be a part of it, then step in there. You know? I mean, that's what we did. I mean,
it's just this little corner. If you want to be not part of it, just go south a little bit.
South and east.
You can get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Then
Yeah, it's like I don't know how to tell you this. You're not changing it.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
there's other invested
You're not.
interests.
That,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
is my point exactly.
Yeah.
You're not changing it. It is what it is.
So just what's it? It's idiocracy. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. Well, man, we filled up a 2-hour gap pretty solid.
Sweet, didn't even feel like 2 hours.
It never does. It never does. But yeah, I mean, I was really stoked. I feel like we covered a lot of things. You think anything we didn't cover?
I don't think so.
Dude,
No,
well,
Any other remaining questions?
oh man, we could keep going with questions. We might have to do that for another episode. We're starting to get to that point with the show where we're gonna have return guests.
Gotcha.
You know, because we not that we went through the ring. There's
just progression.
just
Yeah,
progression.
absolutely.
Yeah, and seeing where you go later
totally.
in your career.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, at the same time, there's still so many people locally that we want to showcase on the show.
Mm-hmm.
That we can't get to them all. I mean, you're on season 5.
Yeah, right.
So,
But we got time on our side, and
yeah,
so,
there's more to come. And I mean, like this place isn't going anywhere. We're only getting bigger. There's only more
people moving
opportunity.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, like we were talking about the OZ bike park.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the first one.
Yep.
There's going to be more. There will be more.
Yep.
And there will be more opportunities. The drift stuff is only growing.
Yep.
Man, have you checked out Jay, Oklahoma?
Yes, Mid-America.
Mid-America.
Yep.
That place
Is something else.
something else.
Yeah.
Dude, talk about some like Oklahomies, redneck neighbors. Like,
I had no idea. Like
it's crazy.
Like showing up there for an event. Oh my god, dude! Like off-road rigs for miles. It's like I had no idea.
If you're familiar with Lake Havasu and like how infectious the boat in like the scene, it just turns into this huge party. Picture that with dirt.
Yeah.
That's what that place is.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild. I didn't never seen it before.
Yeah,
It's like an hour away from here.
Yes,
It's close.
yeah, it's close. And I mean, like I said, opportunities are coming this way.
Yeah.
And I mean, if people want to hang out here and get weird with it, and there's a lot of cool outdoor stuff to get weird with.
There certainly is.
But yeah, dude, man, I really appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for having me.
thanks a lot.
Glad we
man.
finally made it happen.
We
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
And I mean, I'm sure it's almost like a guarantee that we're gonna do something video wise at some point. Because like it just naturally, I have cameras, you have cameras.
I like cameras.
We
I
put
like
them
pointing them at
together.
people.
Yeah, exactly. At some point, we point them at the same people, and we make an edit with that footage. So we definitely need to do more of those.
Yeah.
Weather's getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, the season's coming around, man, and I know. I mean, we have a few things. I'm not going to leak anything on the show because,
Gotta subscribe, follow.
Follow.
Subscribe and
Yeah.
follow.
Thanks
Maybe you'll
for
find out.
doing. We need that plug.
Yeah.
Subscribe to this channel. But yeah, we just have some events that we're going to be involved in, and opportunities, man. Cool opportunities. All right, so yeah, if you want to hire Benton Drones, go to bentondrones.com.
Yep. Or
Yep.
just reach out on social media.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Hit the website. I mean, if for me, I'm telling people go to that website and submit a query and hire Benton Drones. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Let's get some work going. All right. Well, thanks for everybody for watching. We had a plethora of live people hanging, chatting.
That's
Dude.
cool.
We should probably shout out for the last few. Paul Moore, appreciate the emojis. Mark Landry, flying FPV made me better at soldering.
It does, because you crash and you rebuild.
And you rebuild.
Yeah.
And you get good at soldering.
Doug Roberts, man.
Yeah,
Thanks,
he's digging
thanks,
the episode.
Thanks for the props, brother.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, man. We're going to get out of here. Man, Benton Drones.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll be back.
Yeah. See you guys.
We'll see you
Later.
That was 2 hours.